Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're set up in the new little book corner. I will have a video coming soon of how this has all been set up and what I've got going on over here. But first order of business is to pick our TBR for June. As you can see, I have a TBR cart now. This is very exciting for me. I've always wanted to have one of these. Now I finally have the space, and I have books on here. These are all books that I own. I just did a big book haul, which is also a video coming soon. Make sure you subscribe because there are lots of fun videos coming soon I don't want you to miss. And I have a few library books here and a few more library books down here that you can't see that I will be picking from. And we're gonna just stick with the trusty old TBR jar. I have a TBR board game that I made. I need to make new cards for all of the new books I have, so I figured we're just gonna use a TBR jar. Keep it simple. We are going to be picking 8 books in this TBR. I will add a 9th book for whatever my book club book ends up being, but we're voting on that right now. I honestly have no idea what it's going to be. So I'm very excited about all the books on here. I've got books that I pulled off of my physical TBR that I want to read soon, some like summary books. Some of these are new books that I just got that I'm really excited about. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I would also like to revamp my TBR jar, so if you guys have any prompt ideas, let me know. Leave that in the comments. I kind of want to add some new prompts in here because I feel like I'm always picking the same ones. On my radar, like library book wise specifically, because those ones are more pressing since I'll have to return them, I have the new Fredrik Backman book. I have the new Carly Fortune book. I have this book, which I really want to read, this new book, which I also really want to read. So those are ones that I'm like feeling like I want to prioritize putting on my TBR this month. So other than that, honestly, any of these books I'm excited to read. All right, first prompt: a classic novel you were assigned in school. Okay, there's one book that I can pick for this prompt, and it's a book on my top TBR for the year, and I want to read it because another book on my top TBR for the year is James, but I want to read Huckleberry Finn first. And I was actually assigned to read this in school. For some reason, my English class, we only read the first half of it. I have no idea, but I didn't finish it because we weren't assigned to read the whole book. I will be reading this one in the month of June, I guess, and then I can read James. I read a classic in May that I enjoyed, and I feel like it's easy to read classics as an adult because there are so many resources that can help you through the understanding part of it that you would have had in school. But there's a reason I haven't read this until now, because I'm a little bit intimidated by reading classics. So I'm glad I picked that. I needed a little push to get that one onto my TBR. Next prompt has a one-word title. I don't even know if I have any on here. Should I count like the? Oh, here's one. Here's one. Here are all of my options. The first one is Lift. This is a very tiny memoir book that I plan to read in one sitting. Honestly, I might even read this in less than an hour, but I've had it and I put it on my TBR card because I just want to take it off of my physical TBR, but I'm not like jazzed about reading this one. The next one I have is Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey. I read her newest book last month, and literally one of the best books I've read all year. I bought a copy because I loved it so much, and then I bought this book because I didn't have it and I wanted to read more from her. But I'm not sure if this is like June vibes. I really want to read more by her because I loved her last book that I read so much, but I feel like that's kind of a seasonal read. This one is very summery. This one is about like a mom in a beach town. I wanted to read this last summer, but I didn't get to it. Oh, it's set in Cape Cod. I am leaning towards this one because it's summery, but I'm also feeling like maybe I want to save this for like more middle of the summer, like when I'm doing my beach trip, I don't know. And then I have Sword Heart, which is a book I got on NetGalley, but it wasn't even a new book. It was just like a re-release. It was just getting republished or something, I don't know. And I never read it before it came out, but still sitting on my NetGalley, and I'm trying to like read those books that I have on there. Anyway, I still want to read it because I want to clear it out of my NetGalley and write and review whatever, and it doesn't matter, I guess, if it's already been published. I feel like if I put this on my TBR, it will be the extra push I need to read it. Let's see what this one's about. This actually sounds pretty interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one because I feel like I need to give myself a little push to read it, and I think I will save Sandwich for a little bit later on in the summer. Read a book by a male author. Okay, let's see what I got. These are all male authors. Oh, actually, I am going to use it to pick the new Fredrik Backman book. I'm so excited about it. And I actually have these 3 Fredrik Backman books I haven't read yet. I have a copy of Anxious People that my friend is reading right now, which I adored. I love that book so much, and I feel like in this phase of life that I'm going through right now, I've been really craving another Fredrik Backman book because Anxious People I read at like right exactly the perfect time, and I feel like I need that sort of like sad but heartwarming book about just like the messiness of life, which is how his stories go. So I'm really excited about this one, and I'm choosing this one. There's no question about it. All right, I gotta pick some books off of my physical TBR that are not library books, because I have such a hard time with this. When I get library books, I want to read those because obviously I'm gonna have to return them, but then I don't read the books that I own because I'm always just getting new library books. It's such a cycle. Okay, this one is read a book that has an award on the cover. Okay, let's see. Is Reese's Book Club an award? Okay, this one has an award on the cover. I guess national bestseller. Does that count as an award? I don't really want to read this. This one has an award on the cover. I also have The Odyssey, but I will not be getting into that one. This one doesn't even have an award on the cover, but I feel like it should. Okay, I'm just gonna pick between these two, and I think I'm leaning toward 1,000 Splendid Suns, mostly just because this one's on my top TBR for the year. This is by the author of The Kite Runner, which I loved, and I've been told that this one is even better, so I saved it for second. I'm like kind of nervous to read it, but I think I will really enjoy it, and I really enjoyed his writing style in The Kite Runner. So I'm gonna pick this one for the award on the cover. I will read this book someday. Okay, has a word in the title related to reading. I love this prompt because I love reading books about books. This is the only one I have, which is great. I love historical fiction, and I've been really leaning into that in the past like 6-7 months. This is based on a true story historical fiction book, and it is about this woman who is JP Morgan's personal librarian, set in the early 1900s, it looks like. So it seems like a pretty average length read, and I think I'm really gonna enjoy this one. All right, we're at 5, so I'm gonna pick 3 more prompts. This one uses the name of a place or city in the title, and I'm gonna pull this one back out. 2 very New England choices. I just bought this book, which is unusual for me to buy a book, especially like in the romancy genre, but neither of my libraries had it, and I love the cover. I just think it's gonna be a cute book, and I was actually thinking of reading this in June at the end of the month because I'm going to my friend's lake house for a couple days, and I feel like this is like the right vibe of a book for a lake house. It's very like summery. I'm excited about it, especially because it's set in Maine, and I love Maine so much. So I think I'm gonna pick this one. Again, sorry to sandwich. I feel like I'm gonna save this one for the end of the summer, but time will tell. This one is blank, which means I get to pick any book I want. So I'm gonna pick one more prompt, and then we'll pick my like freebie pick. Last prompt starts with the same letter as your name. Oh my god, do you know what I have to pick for this one? I could pick Migrations because that starts with an M, but the only other book I have on here that starts with an M is literally because the first half of the title is my name, so I feel like I have to pick this book. This is Maya and Natasha, and it's a historical fiction book about ballerinas. It's set in Leningrad in 1941, and it's like pre-World War, or like during World War II, and then post World War II during the Cold War, like multiple timeline situation. I'm so excited about this because the premise seems really interesting. The main character has the same name as me, and it's historical fiction. So I am definitely picking that one for this prompt. It seems like perfect. Now what we get to do is use my free choice pick. All right, let's see what I'm really thinking about reading. I've got like historical fiction, I've got like some little romancy-ish book, lit fiction, one fantasy, one classic. I'm really drawn to this book. I think I'm gonna just choose it because otherwise I would put maybe Blue Sisters or The Bright Years. I have like, the other books I have out of the library are like 2 romance books and 2 like lit fiction books about like grief and trauma, and I'm not sure if either of those things are things that I'm like super excited about picking up right now. So I think I'm gonna choose this one. This is The Swimmers. It is, I think, just like a lit fiction book, but I feel like I will really enjoy it. I just keep seeing this. One of my friends read it recently, and I feel like it's time for me to read it. I've been swimming so much recently. So that is the last book on my TBR. We've got all of these wonderful books right here. For the prompt to choose a classic, I chose The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. For the one-word title prompt, I chose Sword Heart. For the book by a male author prompt, I chose My Friends. For a book with an award on the cover, I chose 1,000 Splendid Suns. For a book with a word about books in the title, I chose The Personal Librarian. For a book with a place or city in the title, I chose Maine Characters. For a book that starts with the same letter as your first name, I chose Maya and Natasha. And then finally, for my freebie prompt, I chose The Swimmers. So this is my June TBR. I'm feeling really good about it. I think that there are lots of books on here I'm very excited to read, and some that I've been putting off a little bit that I'm glad to have a little bit of a extra motivation to get them finished. I would love to know what books are on your June TBR, if you've read any of these books and there are ones you think that I should start with. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the fun videos that I have coming up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, friends.